Continue to release smoke, raising concerns among locals. Security officers strictly prohibited any filming, a restriction that only deepens the mystery surrounding the incident.
Thanks very much, sincerely sorry for that mix up. A shocking new study has actually revealed a crushing reality in Cameroon, as a home ownership has become an impossibility. The studies reveal that an average Cameroonian will have to toil for at least half a century to be able to secure a home. Interrogating Divine, Ramsey Jr. takes a look on that pathetic situation.
A fresh report published by Numbeo, a global cost of living and housing tracker, has placed Cameroon among the top 3 countries in the world where home ownership is most out of reach. Alongside nations like Syria and Cuba, the study concludes that Cameroon's housing market is simply unaffordable for the average person. For most workers, buying a home would take nearly 50 years of income. That's about half a lifetime spent just to afford basic shelter. Numbeo points that the reasons for the crisis are clear. Luxury apartments dominate cities like Yaoundé and Douala, exclusively catering to the wealthy and foreign expatriates and investors, while ordinary citizens are left in the cold with few affordable options. The survey adds that government and developers have failed to keep up with the demand for affordable housing. At the same time, access to mortgages, which are critical for home ownership, remains nearly impossible for most people, making home ownership a distant dream for many. Despite efforts to address the situation, the housing crisis in the country is only deepening. Unsold properties sit idle, and government projects are either delayed or underfunded. The study warns that as more people flock to the urban areas, the housing gap will only grow further. For many Cameroonians, owning a home isn't just about shelter, it is about security and dignity. But today, the dream is increasingly reserved for the wealthy few, leaving the rest struggling to survive.
Up next is Maureen D, and she will be painting a picture of a widow who is facing abject poverty and family rejection, even from her own children. This is happening in Douala. Maureen D.
Que si je dois rester chez lui, il doit... Ma fille doit contribuer, sa soeur doit contribuer pour le loyer.
After the death of her husband 4 years ago, Sidonie, a widow in her mid-60s, has been grappling with severe poverty, illness and emotional trauma. Her troubles began the week her husband died, announced 1 week after he passed away, leaving her unable to attend his burial due to the severity of her illness.
Ton père meurt. Je suis informée en dernier, alors que tu devais me dire à l'heure même où il mourait.
Unlike many widows who face threats from in-laws, Sidonie says her suffering comes from inside her own home.
Le même enfant, il va dans mon sac, il prend tous mes papiers, les papiers d'achat de cette maison. Même mon acte de mariage.
She tearfully tells Canal team that her children have rejected her, seized all her documents, including her marriage certificate, and refused to allow her to access her legal rights and widow's benefits. Treated like a slave, she is left to fend for herself with nothing, forced to rely on the generosity of her in-laws, who sometimes provide her modest food and care.
Ma belle famille ne m'a pas torturée, Dieu merci, mais c'est les miens même qui m'ont torturée.
Once a hard-working businesswoman, Sidonie, a widow at 66, now depends on the acts of kindness, a church that constantly lifts her spirit. She can only move in and around her home with this chair. Despite her resilience, she remains uncertain when or even if her vital documents will ever be returned. Documents that are her only pathway to claiming her rights and widows' benefits.
Qu'il apporte les papiers de décès et tout, parce qu'il faut qu'il fasse la pension.
Well, thanks very much, Maureen. That report by Maureen is just the tip of the iceberg on what some of these widows are going through. And so Hyacinth is saying that there are more crusades for better conditions of the widows. Hyacinth.
Widows in Cameroon continue to navigate numerous challenges ranging from social isolation and stigma, loss of social status, loss of husband's property, limited access to resources, financial insecurity, harmful traditional practices, limited access to justice, among others. A race extremely difficult to battle.
18 ans, le stress, tout ça c'est entré, le diabète est dedans, la tension est dedans. Je me bats comme ça, c'est d'abord la première difficulté.
Ça fait 13 ans comme j'ai perdu mon mari. Mais il y a 2 mois, je n'arrive pas à marcher, mes pieds me font mal. Depuis 2003. C'est une longue histoire, c'est le Seigneur seul qui sait comment il me soutient.
Many are forced to take the bull by the horn to meet the needs of the children in the absence of the family head.
J'étais obligée de me lancer dans le commerce, oui, pour pouvoir payer les classes aux enfants.
Commemorating the International Widows' Day this June 23, 2025, under the theme, Empower Her from Loss to Leadership, the widows lauded the little strides made in respecting and protecting their rights, but urge policymakers and community leaders to prioritize initiatives that render widows autonomous to cater for themselves and their families without depending on free will politicians for yearly gifts with strings attached.
Thanks, Hyacinth. And despite ongoing efforts to combat violence inflicted upon widows through outdated rights, many of the women in Cameroon are still subjected to inhumane practices that strip them of their dignity and rights. And a recent forum from the Église Presbyterienne du Cameroun, Jongolo Parish, actually sheds light on the urgent need for reforms. Beatrice Ngamo reports.
Faced with the loss of their spouse, the widow undergo prejudice rooted in tradition in the name of widowhood, a right that varies according to culture. Some sitting on the ground, being shaved wherever hair grows on the body, with others watching, the special bath in terrible streams, and many more. But not the same with the so-called social class or merry widows. When you are a billionaire, make you sleep on the floor or eat mud or leave you naked to place in hole. You pay and leave. No one will leave you in the village for 3 months. A status all widows should have, not because of the money, power or influence, but rather the widowhood right should be a simple cleansing, far from jealousy, hatred, and wicked tradition.
Read the
Well, we're sorry for that technical hitch there with that report. We will be coming back to it subsequently. And now let's talk sports. The seemingly crisis within Cameroon's Football Federation has deepened as Jeremy Njitab, the president of the Footballers Union, Senafok, remains silent following his suspension or controversial suspension by the Cameroon Football Federation. Taruki Divine actually remarks in the following commentary that while global unions are rallying behind Njitab, the question still remains, why his silence?
The temperature has not stopped rising within Cameroonian football circles following the suspension of Jeremy Njitab, president of the Footballers Union Senafok. Last week, Njitab and his colleague Daniel Blaise Ngos were handed 5 and 2-year suspensions respectively by the Cameroon Football Federation FECAFOOT after a controversial locker room incident during the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. And as the saga drags on, GTAP's decision to opt for sealed lips is drawing questions and suspicions. As a central figure in the unfolding conflict, many are asking, is silence a strategic move or a missed opportunity to confront what critics term the Federation's controversial actions head-on? The backlash is growing, not just in Cameroon but globally. David Terrier, president of France's UNFP and a representative of FIFPro Europe, has condemned the suspension as politically charged and a direct assault on player rights. He accuses Fecafoot and its president Samuel Eto'o of betraying their roots. Eto'o, once a staunch supporter of Sinafok and FIFPro, now appears to stand at the helm of a federation silencing players' voices. Terrier says Eto'o might have forgotten where he came from, and with such powerful global unions backing GTAP and GOS, the dispute might as well rapidly escalate into an international showdown.
And the University of Bamenda is up and kicking despite the security challenges faced by the northwest region of the country, and authorities are saying that this is the special impetus pumped in by the respective stakeholders. Sherifat Saleh reports with calls from our Northwest Chief Correspondent Annie Collins.
Inherited from ENS Annex Bambali, this is one of the medieval structures in which the University of Bamenda took off in 2011. 15 years after creation, the academic institution has taken a retrospective look on itself. Gathered at the Modern Restaurant recently, stakeholders held an intercultural dialogue organized by the Language Center, which is one of the 12 schools lodged in 4 faculties run by over 500-man teaching staff and approximately the same number of support staff.
As representing the university, we are thanking the head of state who created the university and who, from that period, has never ceased to give aid to the University of Bamenda.
Through the leadership of the Vice-Chancellor and with the support of the Pro-Chancellor, we believe the vision for a greater impact, not just a dream, but a reality in motion.
Moving forward, close to 2 million CFA francs was recently allocated for a fence and other infrastructure.
The university has been developmental factors. You can see all those structures. And even in peace building, it's thanks to the resilience of the University of Bamenda that we have been able to move from where we were at the beginning of the crisis to where we are.
Well, we will be coming back to the complete report of the University of Bamenda in our subsequent edition of the program. And 2 globally outstanding medics from the Myot International Hospital in India, or Chennai, India, are already in Cameroon. They will be consulting cardiologists and oncologists who will be consulting from the clinic or polyclinic La Conquête or Polyclinique de Merveille La Conquête in Douala. Of course, they are going to be here for a number of days. Details in this report.
In a groundbreaking medical partnership, Clinique de Merveille La Conquête in Douala has joined hands with the world-renowned Myot International Hospital of India to offer free specialist consultations in cardiology and oncology. With the endorsement of Cameroon's Ministry of Public Health, 2 of Myot's top specialists, Dr. Pradeep Kumar, head of cardiology, and Dr. Srinivasan, head of radiology oncology, have arrived Cameroon for a 3-day specialist consultation program to run from June 23 to 25. These globally respected experts are offering their services at no cost, attending to all forms of heart and cancer-related cases.
We just arrived at Douala International Airport and we are happy to be here. Our journey says we are very excited to be here and we'll be here for next 4 to 5 days.
Dr. Pradeep Kumar, a senior interventional cardiologist, and Dr. Srinivasan, a leading oncologist, will be on hand to diagnose and recommend solutions for a wide range of cardiac and cancer conditions.
We have seen the setup in the polyclinic here. and most of the equipments are of world-class standard. Whatever is required for a basic diagnosis, everything is here.
We used to examine those patients, and if they have any features of cancer, we'll try to do what is possible. If treatment can be offered here, we will do that here. For treatments which are not available, then we will take them to Miyot Hospital, Chennai, and we will give them a treatment that is completely curable and send them back to the country.
Their presence confirms the growing collaboration between India's medical excellence and Cameroon's evolving healthcare sector. This initiative and Miyot International aimed at strengthening specialist healthcare access in Cameroon. Just weeks ago, another Miyot delegation made headlines after offering free gynecological and radiology consultations, drawing hundreds of grateful patients. Upon arrival, the visiting doctors were taken on a tour of the facility where they expressed admiration for the ultra-modern state-of-the-art equipment installed at the Clinique de Merveille. They commended the hospital for maintaining global standards in infrastructure and medical service delivery. Miyot International Hospital, based in Chennai, India, has highly specialized departments and world-class patient care. With a footprint in over 130 countries, Miyot has performed thousands of life-saving procedures and is celebrated for its commitment to making advanced healthcare accessible across borders.
And we move up north, where the Prime Minister, head of government, recently inaugurated on behalf of President Paul Biya the cement factory in Figil. Let's have the details.
The Semencam Figil subsidiary officially inaugurated its new clinker and cement production line on Tuesday, June 12, 2025 in Figil. The event was presided over by the Prime Minister, head of government, Chief Dr. Joseph Giangute, accompanied by several members of government, the general manager of Semencam and the board chair, as well as regional administrative authorities. This major industrial project marks a decisive milestone in Semencam's development strategy and in Cameroon's broader industrialization effort.
During the design, all these specifications have been put in the scope of tender, so that when the plan had been erected, all these constraints and compliance have been taken in account.
Semencam Figil is a newly established subsidiary of Semencam, the pioneer cement company in Cameroon.
This factory is very important for Semencam Figil, but also for the northern Cameroon, from Adamawa, the north and the extreme north, and also for the Chad. What it will change is that we will be able to supply all the development of this region and also the Chad.
Our gratitude goes to the head of state for having helped us to complete this project. I also wish to salute the abnegation of all actors who contributed to the successful realization of this factory, which is a source of pride for the people of Figil and the North region in general.
During the ceremony, the Prime Minister signed the guest book and planted a tree, a powerful symbol of peace and development. This integrated plant was designed to effectively meet the growing demand for cement in the Grand North and in neighboring Chad.
We are very proud today to inaugurate this plant with a state-of-the-art plant in the production of clinker and cement. It is really a success because it has been designed in the best way and now done exactly in the way it has to be in this area for the local needs of cement. We are proud that our partnership with the authorities of this country made this possible, and we thank also our partner Société Nationale d'Investissement, who are our associates in this in Semencam, and of course we are also proud to have in the high patronage of His Excellency Paul Biya, the President of the Republic of Cameroon.
Equipped with state-of-the-art technology, the new production line will significantly boost national clinker and cement output while generating sustainable jobs and invigorating the local economy.
It is a first in its kind in Cameroon. It's a colossal effort. We've visited the entire factory. It's very, very modern processes, and it's really important to emphasize that this is the industrialization of Cameroon going ahead. So we want to thank the officials of Simencam for undertaking this project, and of course to thank the head of state who made this project possible.
The plant's commissioning adds a production capacity of approximately 500,000 tons of cement per year. It will also contribute meaningfully to Figil's development, with nearly 150 direct jobs created at the plant and over 750 indirect jobs.
Of course, that at Victoria draws the curtain for this edition of the 6:15 with me, Kejang Henry Atibeli. Pidge will be coming up next with the brief, the actuality.